Hello and welcome to another Tycho video. Today I'm going to be demonstrating how to display the informational boxes that are shown in the image viewer. So as one example, we have this top row of informational boxes. The one on the upper left indicates the designation of the object and its motion, and the one in the upper right indicates the date of the measurement, the coordinates, the brightness, and the exposure time. And these can be shown after invoking the verify track routine, which can be accessed in one of three different ways: through the synthetic tracker, the known object module, or by adding the track through the image viewer. So I'll be showing each of these three in just a moment. There is also another informational box shown in the middle right, indicating the distance of the object, its motion, and phase information, and this can be shown after applying the object information. And as before, there are three different ways to do this: through the overlay settings, the known object module, and JPL horizons. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the first example. This is the top row of informational boxes. As I mentioned, there are three different ways to do this: synthetic tracker, known object module, and by adding the track through image viewer. So let's start with the first one. This is the synthetic tracker. So I go to Action, Synthetic Tracker. I'm just going to use the default parameters and look for main belt asteroids in this data set. So I click OK and I give it a moment to complete the search. And after it is finished, we get a list of candidate detections here. So what I want to do is pre-populate with the known object matching. So I go to File, Known Objects, and all this is doing is populating the object designation. So after it finds a match, we get that populated here. So again, to populate or display the top row of informational boxes, we do that through the verify track routine. So when I double click on a track, I have this window appear. This is the verify track window, and once I add observations and specify the designation of the object, then that is when the top row of informational boxes is displayed. So the second way is through the known object module. So if I go to File, Load Known Objects, it's going to present me with a list of the known objects in this field of view, and I can right click on one, choose Add to Track Navigator, and this presents another way to have the verify track window shown. So I have this window here once again, click Add Observations, and once I've done that, you'll notice the top row once again of informational boxes has the designation, motion of the object, and the upper right window as well. So that is the second way. The third way is by adding the track through the image viewer. So for example, if I go through here and I say, well, here's the start of the object, so I click Create Marker 1, and I go through some other images here and I say, well, here's another position of the object, Create Marker 2. I can create a track through markers. That's just one way to do it. And this is another way to get the verify track window to present itself. So I can choose verify track, add observations, and if I give it a designation, again, this is not the actual designation of the object, but this is just for this example, click OK, and you'll notice once again we have the top row of informational boxes appear. So again, the key for the top row is simply you have to invoke the verify track routine, which is done through the track navigator, which can be presented through either synthetic tracker, known objects, or by adding the track manually from the image viewer. So next example is how to display the middle right informational panel. Okay, so the second example concerns the middle right informational panel as shown here. As you can see, it is currently blank, and as mentioned previously, there are three different methods by which we can populate it: overlay settings, known object module, and the JPL horizons interface. So let's start with the first method, which is the overlay settings. So to do that, I navigate to Settings, Overlay, and I click on the button labeled Apply Object. Now when I do that, it then prompts me for the designation of the object of interest, and I can supply either the number or the name of the object. So as an example, I can specify a provisional designation here, click the search button, and after a moment it will return with a list of candidate objects matching that criteria. So I then choose the object of interest, click the OK button, and after a moment you can see it will update the middle right informational panel accordingly. The second method is the known object module. So for that we navigate to File, Load Known Objects, And we give it a moment to identify all of the objects that are known to exist in the field of view, and it then returns with a list of those objects, and we can simply right-click on one of these objects and choose Apply Object Information. So once I do that, you can see that it updates the middle right informational panel accordingly. The third and final method I will show is the JPL Horizons interface. So for that, we navigate back to the Image Manager, choose Ephemeris Attached from JPL Horizons, specify the designation of the object of interest, and then choose Ephemeris Attached to Dataset. So once I click on that menu item, you can see that it has now updated the information panel accordingly. Now, lastly, I do want to emphasize that the information shown here is accurate, again, provided that you have the observatory, the active observatory, for example, as shown here, reflects that of the observatory that acquired the images. So in other words, if somebody hands you a set of images to work with, you want to make sure that you go into Settings, Observatory, and you can add in their observatory information accordingly and make sure that that becomes the active observatory. So that's probably already well known. I'm just reinforcing the fact that this information is dependent on the actively selected observatory. So that's about it for this video. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.